Why do humans love dogs so much? Imagine meeting someone who speaks a completely different language, belongs to another species, looks nothing like you, and yet you would eventually trust them with your children, sleep beside them, risk your life for them. How did that happen? Why are humans capable of loving dogs so deeply? And perhaps an even stranger question, why do dogs seem to love us just as much? This isn't simply the story of pets. It's the greatest friendship evolution has ever created. Around 40,000 years ago, there were no golden retrievers, no German shepherds, no huskies, no tiny lapdogs sleeping on couches, and certainly no dogs waiting excitedly at the front door. There were only wolves, powerful, intelligent predators that roamed forests, mountains, and endless grasslands beside early humans. Both species hunted the same animals. Both competed for food. Both feared each other. Every encounter carried the possibility of violence. If someone had told those ancient humans that one day wolves would become trusted members of their families, they probably would have laughed. Yet something extraordinary began to happen. Not because humans captured wolves, not because wolves suddenly became friendly, but because nature slowly rewarded curiosity instead of fear. Among every wolf pack were a few individuals that were slightly calmer than the others. They were more willing to observe humans from a distance. When early humans left behind bones, scraps of meat, or leftovers near their camps, these curious wolves waited until the people were asleep before cautiously approaching. They discovered an easier meal than chasing dangerous prey across endless landscapes. The humans noticed them too. At first, they kept their distance, but they also realized these wolves weren't attacking. Instead, they cleaned up waste around the camp and frightened away other dangerous predators. The relationship wasn't built on affection, it was built on survival, night after night, year after year, generation after generation. The calmest wolves survived more successfully because they had access to food. The most aggressive wolves stayed far away. Slowly, over thousands of years, those calmer wolves became different. Their faces became softer, their bodies grew smaller, their ears became floppier, their tails wagged more often. Their fear of humans slowly disappeared. Without anyone realizing it, the first dogs had arrived. But something even stranger was happening. The wolves weren't only changing on the outside, their brains were changing too. Generation after generation, they became better at understanding one creature unlike any they had ever encountered: humans. No other wild animal pays as much attention to human faces as dogs do. Dogs can tell the difference between a happy face and an angry one. They notice where you're looking. They learn your daily routines. Some can recognize hundreds of words, not because they understand language the way we do, but because they've spent thousands of years becoming experts at reading us. In many ways, your dog has spent its entire life studying you. Most people think humans changed dogs, but that's only half of the story. Dogs changed humans too. Imagine living in a world without streetlights, locks, alarm systems, or hospitals. Every sound outside your shelter could mean danger. Every strange smell could signal a predator. But dogs heard those sounds long before humans ever could. Their noses detected danger from incredible distances. Their ears caught movements hidden deep in the darkness. They warned families before danger arrived. They helped hunters track animals that humans could never smell. They protected children while adults slept. Together, humans and dogs became stronger than either species had ever been alone. This wasn't just evolution, it was teamwork. As thousands of years passed, that partnership became something far more remarkable. It became emotional. Scientists have discovered something fascinating. When a mother looks into the eyes of her baby, her brain releases a chemical called oxytocin. It's often called the love hormone because it creates feelings of trust, attachment, and affection. The same thing happens between close friends and people deeply in love. Now comes the incredible part. The exact same chemical is released when a dog looks into the eyes of the human it loves. Even more surprising, the human's brain responds the same way. Your dog isn't pretending to love you. Its brain is literally rewarding that connection, and your brain rewards it too. Two completely different species evolved a shared emotional language that almost no other relationship on Earth possesses. Scientists have also discovered something almost unbelievable. When strangers stare into each other's eyes for too long, many people become uncomfortable. Dogs don't. They happily hold eye contact with the humans they trust. For wolves, staring directly into another animal's eyes was often a challenge or a warning. For dogs, it became something completely different. It became a conversation. Without speaking a single word, your dog can ask, "Are you okay? Are we going for a walk? Can I stay beside you? I'm happy you're home." Sometimes one look says more than words ever could. Think about that for a moment. Your dog doesn't care how much money you earn. It doesn't care what kind of car you drive. It doesn't care whether people think you're successful. It doesn't care if you had a terrible day at work. To your dog, you're simply family. That's why dogs wait at the window. To you, leaving for work feels normal. You're gone for 8 hours because that's just part of life. But your dog doesn't understand meetings, traffic jams, shopping trips, or vacations. It only understands one thing. Its favorite person disappeared. Some dogs spend hours sitting beside the front door. Others wait near a window. Some carry their owner's shoe or favorite blanket because it still smells like them. Every small sound makes them look up with hope. Then comes the moment they hear a familiar car. Their ears stand up. Their tail begins to wag. Within seconds, they're running toward the door with excitement that seems almost impossible to contain. Researchers once performed experiments where owners left their dogs alone for different lengths of time. Some returned after only a few minutes. Others came back much later. The longer the separation, the greater the excitement when they reunited. Tails wagged harder. Hearts beat faster. Some dogs cried with happiness. Others couldn't stop jumping. It wasn't simply excitement. It was relief. Their family had returned. People often joke that dogs only love us because we feed them. But if food were the only reason, they wouldn't celebrate our return with overwhelming happiness every single day. They missed us, just like we miss the people we love. Scientists have also learned that dogs pay incredibly close attention to human emotions. They notice tiny changes in facial expressions. They hear differences in our voices. They smell stress hormones before we even realize we're anxious. Many dogs comfort people who are crying without ever being taught. Some can detect illnesses before doctors do. Others warn people about seizures, panic attacks, or dangerously low blood sugar simply because they've learned to recognize tiny changes in the human body. Have you ever noticed something beautiful? Dogs often choose to sit beside the person who's feeling the saddest. No one teaches them to do this. Yet countless owners tell the same story. When someone in the family is crying, the dog quietly walks over, leans against them, or gently rests its head on their lap. It doesn't try to solve the problem. It doesn't need the right words. It simply stays. Sometimes, that's exactly what humans need. For thousands of years, dogs have been studying us just as carefully as we've been studying them. In many ways, dogs understand humans better than humans understand themselves. Perhaps that's why this friendship has survived every chapter of history. Dogs walked beside hunters across frozen landscapes. They guarded ancient villages. They crossed oceans with explorers. They worked alongside farmers. They stood beside soldiers. They guided people who couldn't see. They rescued people trapped beneath snow and rubble. They comforted the lonely. They protected children. They celebrated our happiest moments and quietly sat beside us during our worst ones. When the world changes, dogs don't ask where we're going. They simply walk beside us. Maybe humans never truly domesticated dogs. Maybe both species slowly shaped each other over thousands of years. We taught dogs how to live in our world. Dogs taught us loyalty, trust, companionship, forgiveness, and unconditional love in return. Maybe that's why dogs became more than hunting partners, more than guards, more than workers. They became family. Birthdays are celebrated with them. Holiday photos include them. Children grow up believing they've always been there. And when they leave us, the silence they leave behind is unlike anything else. Not because they could speak, but because they never needed to. They loved us in the simplest ways possible. By waiting, by trusting, by forgiving, by being happy simply because we existed. Perhaps that is why humans love dogs so much. Not because they're perfect, not because they're useful, but because every single day they remind us what unconditional love looks like. 40,000 years ago, two strangers met beside a small campfire. One walked on 2 legs, the other walked on 4. Neither knew they were changing history. Today, every wagging tail, every muddy paw print on the floor, every dog sleeping peacefully beside its favorite human, is proof that the greatest friendship evolution ever created is still being written. And maybe the most incredible part of all is that after 40,000 years, your dog still looks at you with the same silent question that very first wolf asked long ago. Can I stay with you? And every time we open our front door, our answer is still the same. Welcome home.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, share and comment. See you soon.